My name is Freddie and I'm with Freetime Fun, and today we'll be reviewing the installation process of our 56-inch foosball table. Along the way, we'll share some helpful tips and tricks to help speed up the installation process, and from start to finish, you're looking at about a 30 to 45 minute install, so stay tuned. The first step of installation for your new 56-inch foosball table will be attaching all four legs. You are going to be using a part number 2 and a part number 3 on each of the four corners. One helpful tip to make sure you're using the right leg in the right corner is to ensure that the leg is pointing out towards you. Now, while you're installing these and all other components, a helpful tip, you can either use the Allen key that is provided with your table, or if you have a power drill with the appropriate bit, you can certainly use that as well. Just be sure to use a low torque setting on any drill that you are using. While installing all four legs and the cross member in the following step, make sure to only finger tighten until all components are installed. At that point in time, you can go ahead and securely tighten down. For step 2, now we're going to go ahead and attach the supportive cross pieces to each of the four legs on each end. One thing to note while installing this is to make sure that the U is facing up towards you. As that table is flipped over, it will then be in the proper orientation. So these are assembled just by attaching 4 bolts, 2 on each of the legs from going out to in. It can be tricky to do by yourself, so this might be a time for one person to hold the supportive plate while the other feeds in through the bolt. Otherwise, you can simply just hold the middle of the supportive brace if you're doing it by yourself and feed the bolts in to each of the ends. Again, as mentioned previously, make sure to only finger tighten until all components are installed, and then we'll go ahead and secure it down. The last step before we flip this table over of installation will just be to screw in each of the 4 independent leg levelers into each of the legs. So you simply just rotate that all the way down until it's snug. And then once the table is fully assembled, flipped over and in the place where it will be resting, you can then use these independent leg levelers again to level this table to your floor. Now would be the time to grab that extra set of hands. We are now going to flip this table over. So each person will grab one end, and when flipping it, make sure do not rest it on each of the legs, as that could cause structural damage to the table. So you're going to want to rotate it in one swoop. Now that your table is in its upright position, we are now going to work on feeding the player rods through each of the holes. There will be 4 rods per side. Now this is what really sets this table apart. If you've ever installed a foosball table, you'll know that putting the players on the rods can be a little bit of a hassle. If you don't put the right players on the right rods or in the right spots, you have to fully disassemble that whole entire rod. With ours, what you'll see in the next step ahead is that these players simply unscrew and lock once the rods are in and locked into each of the holes. So stay tuned on that, but for now we're going to install 4 rods per side. You're going to start left to right with 16, 17. You're going to do the first 2 holes here. You're going to skip one for the opposing team, and then you'll put 18, skip another one for the opposing team that'll be fed from the opposite direction, and then lastly with 19. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll jump into the player installation. Slid through. You'll now fasten each one with a bumper and a washer. You'll simply do that by sliding the bumper on first, followed by a washer. For the goalie rods only, it will feature 2 of these white goalie ends, which will be secured down at a later point, but you'll slide those on next, followed by a washer, and then the bumper. Once that has been completed, you can go ahead and slide that rod through. Now you're going to repeat that on all the following rods, with the exception of the white goalie rods as well in future steps. The final step of installation for each of the rods will be to add the rubber end cap to lock each of the rods into place. You'll simply hold the inner end of the rod to prevent it from shifting and slip the bumper end at the end to lock it into place. Before installing each of the players, you will notice on each of your rods there are predetermined hole slots for where the players will lock into place. All of your players will come pre-assembled. This is by design. This is to help with the ease of installation. So if a mistake is made, you can simply just unscrew the player and relocate it without having to tear apart the entire rod. So to disassemble the foosball player, you're going to unscrew the head and it will come apart. So in the manual, it will give you the layout of each of the players. So for this one, this will be the goalie. You will take the larger half and snap it right into place, rotate it over, secure the back, and screw that head to lock that player into place. Now you will repeat this process on all of the following rods. The last step of each of the goalie rod installation will be to secure the white bumpers into place. On each of the goalie rods, there will be pre-drilled holes to identify where these will be locked into place. You will use a machine screw and a nut. One helpful tip would be to locate the side of the bumper that has the nut location, drop that into place, and rotate that over, and then thread that screw through. This will be important to note to not over tighten these, as this can crack if it is over tightened. So I would recommend using just a screwdriver to secure these into place. The final step of your install for your foosball table will be to install the entry cups into both halves of the table. You will take one half and slide that on the inside, and take the second half and screw that into place. It has been snugged down. You will then secure it into place utilizing the wood screw that comes with it into the pre-drilled hole that is in the cabinet already. Once that's done, you will then be up and ready to play. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at freetimefun.com. Thank you.